Good evening, Gimbal B here with another CPM1 interview. Tonight I'm going to be talking to the Black Jackal. How's it going, Jackal?
It's going good. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's not so bad, not so bad. So I guess I'm just going to start off with, can you give the people listening a brief introduction of yourself?
Depends on what information you want, but I'm a closed beta veteran. I've been around for as long as Dust has been around and longer with Eve. Not sure what else. I'm 31 years old. I have a family, but no work commitments at this point in time.
So, playing Dust, how did you get into it? Who do you play with?
Well, I got into it primarily through the Eve side. I've been playing Eve for a confirmable 4 years. When the release or the information came out for Dust, I was extremely excited about it. I was a very big proponent of Dust being a big part of New Eden. And as soon as the beta came out, I got into replication build. And from there, went on to form the Southern Legion and things like that, as well as playing with a whole lot of other guys because I switch servers all the time. I go to the US servers, the EU servers, and jump in random squads and just chat to people. So while I do play with my own corporation and alliance a fair bit, I do generally play with pretty much anybody. Anybody comes along, I'll play with them.
Okay, and keeping to playing Dust right now, what kind of roles do you play at the moment? I think I remember you being a tanker at one point.
Primarily, I'm a tanker. Right up until and after the respec, I've spec'd into tanks, but I also play assault and logistics as well.
And Southern Legion does a lot of things, I imagine. I imagine you do faction warfare and planetary conquest too?
Yeah, we've been in planetary conquest and faction warfare. Originally, when faction warfare was the only thing available to us, we actually completely threw the core bin with the Minmatar and the Galente faction warfare. Then when planetary conquest came around, we pulled out of our active faction warfare role. We still played, obviously, because it was part of the game in Dust, but our Eve pilots weren't involved in faction warfare then. And yeah, we've been in and out of PC 3 times now. We're in for our third haul.
Okay, so you have a sort of wide range of experience in all parts of the game.
Indeed, yes.
Cool. So moving on to the CPM itself, I'm going to ask you why you want to be in CPM1, but you're one of the people who were asked for the original CPM, right?
I was interviewed. As to why I didn't get it, there's probably many possible reasons, but one possible reason was my lack of ability to get a passport. My government listed me as a deceased. There is a reason for it, apparently, and I wasn't able to get a passport in the time required. This year, I've sorted that out finally, and my passport application's in. So, but that could have been one of possible reasons. There are plenty of other people out there who were interviewed. I was only simply one of many candidates.
Moving on, you really want to be on the CPM then?
Yes, I do. I want to make sure this game, or at least help this game, become what CCP envisions it to be and the community envisions it to be. Probably more so the community, because CCP has an ideal that might have to change it a bit, or vice versa, the community might have to change their opinions. But, everyone wants to make this game really, really good, and I've got the time and investment, quite a bit of experience in both Dust and Eve, Dust primarily as well. So I really want to get in here and get my hands dirty in getting the game up to scratch.
You mentioned earlier you have a family. Will that impact your ability to be on the CPM, or is it all okay as far as that's concerned?
Well, my eldest, who's 5 years old, is going to school this year. So from my time, 9 till 3, I'll be pretty much available during the day. Since I don't work, I live at home, stay at home. My other one goes to daycare 3 days a week. So, and they generally don't bother me when I'm doing stuff like chatting with people, stuff like that. It may prohibit me from being on Skype 24/7, but it doesn't prohibit me from being here to answer questions.
So, as far as being on the CPM, what do you think it is that you bring to the CPM that others might not?
I can't really say exactly what I'd bring that others won't, because I can't say what others would bring. But I bring, well, for one, my time zone, I'm much closer to CCP Shanghai than a lot of other people, so I can have a lot more direct dialogue during their normal workday. Not to say the American and European people can't, but it may be out of reach for them a lot of the time when they have to get on Skype at weird and odd hours. There is the fact that I'm undertaking some side courses in games development, specifically around the Unreal Engine. So I bring some knowledge of the Unreal Engine to the board, so it may not impact the development in most ways, but it will allow me to act as a bit of a filter, knowing that sometimes Unreal Engine may not be able to do what people are asking. As well as that, I bring a lot of enthusiasm, a commitment to make this game better, and a wealth of ideas, as people probably know.
So what are you expecting out of the CPM?
Well, I expect it to be a relatively two-way street, both in proposal ideas and giving feedback, as well as a time commitment that is generally substantial, which I'm willing to commit. I've given up the leadership of the Southern Legion in order to run for the CPM. So, to free myself up and to allow myself that amount of time commitment. As I said, time zone wise, I'm available pretty much all day. They're going to be available roughly on the same time in Shanghai. I'm not sure how often I'll be required to communicate with Iceland, but I'm always willing to stay up or get up early to communicate with them.
Is there any last thoughts you'd like to share before we wrap this up?
Only that I hope the community can actually see that I am passionate about this game, and that I really do want to represent the community in what they've proposed, as well as what I've proposed and what they've supported in my particular posts. I stand for immersion. I want Dust to be as immersive universe as Eve is. It's just a game. I'd love to be able to incorporate Dust in such a way and be in Dust in such a way that it will be an ever-evolving universe, and it just will continue to grow in that respect.
Okay, thank you, Jackal, for taking the time. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Not a problem at all.
And thanks everybody for listening. I'll have more of these on the way. If you have any questions for anybody I'm going to interview, or if you know anyone who you really want to be interviewed, there's a thread down in the description below, so just give me a shout there. And yeah, thanks for listening.